mixing about 4 minutes. I've stopped it 3 times to pull it down from the sides to make sure that it's evenly mixing. On a larger mixer, you normally wouldn't need to do this, but as I said, the dough hook on the KitchenAid is very small and doesn't, in comparison to the mixing bowl, and sometimes has trouble gripping the dough. So let me just let it down so you can see. It has significant gluten. It's getting stronger. It's not completely smooth. It's smooth, but it's not strong. It's a little sticky, but not overly sticky. So it's nice and moist. I am now going to add, it's been mixing for a total of about 5 minutes on speed 1. Again, I will adjust the recipe that you get in the module so that you don't have to add the extra water, although you can keep a little bit in case yours looks different. I'm now going to add the caraway seed. The reason that I don't add it at the beginning is because it's very hard and it can damage the gluten as the gluten is forming. So the caraway seed is an inclusion, and we often add inclusions. Inclusions are things that you add that you can interchange or leave out that don't affect the chemistry of the recipe. For example, chocolate chips in a chocolate chip cookie are added at the end after you make the cookie. So now what I'm doing, I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to, most of the caraway is near the bottom, so I'm going to turn this over. I'll take the hook out so you're able to see. Most of the caraway seed is at the bottom, so I'm going to turn it over, and then I'll just mix it a little more, and then we're ready for fermentation. You may not be familiar with caraway seed, but it's a very common flavor in rye bread. Historically, that's because caraway was a weed, a grass that grew in the same place that rye grew. So it was often ground in with the rye, and that flavor became associated with rye. So if you tasted it by itself because you wanted to know what it tasted like, it may have been a very strong flavor for you or something you weren't familiar with. But it's definitely, it doesn't have to go into rye bread, but it's very common in rye bread. I said that I would show you, if you were doing it by hand, how you would do it. So you would mix it in a bowl, any kind of bowl, until it started to come together, and then you're going to put it on your counter or a table. Turn it over. So you don't need to do this if you're on a mixer. I'm just doing it to show people if you're not using a mixer. If you notice, I push it and then I rotate it 90 degrees, push it again, 90 degrees. This is important to make sure that the dough is stretched in all directions. Okay, and that's it. I don't think the caraway is quite mixed in, but that's the idea. Now I have a bowl that I just put a drop of oil in. Don't try to put too much in so you don't have to use your hands. You want a very, very light oiling. Okay. I'm going to put the dough in there. I'm going to take the temperature of the dough, and I'm going to leave it to ferment for 45 minutes, and then we're going to fold it. Okay. I actually would like this to be about 78 degrees. I have 79 right now, 80 degrees, a tiny bit warm. So I think I should not have put it out on the table and given it a little bit more, that was a little bit extra friction. But again, I have a section in your module about this. So you'll be able to read about how to get the proper dough temperature in your module. So mine is about 79 degrees. I wanted 78, but my dough is 79. Tiny bit warm. So I'm going to wrap this tightly. And because it's just a little bit warm, I just don't want it to get any warmer. The house here is starting to get a little bit warm. I have an ice pack, and I'm going to put the dough on the ice pack just to make sure that it doesn't get any warmer in my house. And I'm going to wait for 45 minutes and then do the first fold. So I'm back with the dough. I decided not to give it a fold. I think it got some extra work because I was kneading it on the table after the mixer. So I let it go for an hour and a half. It looks to me like it's about double in size. So I'm now going to divide it up into the individual units. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my plastic scraper and turn the bowl over. And I'm going to divide it up. I could use my plastic scraper. It's most common to use a metal scraper, the bench scraper, one of your required tools. And you'll need a scale.